Simon Kuf Pei Hey, in the middle of Sif Gimel, after the Ramah, discussing over here about the Neymanus and a woman who says she's Tameya. So she says she's Tameya. Then the question is, if she gives it a Amasla to, or they say in the starting pronounce Tala, whatever. Tala. At least here, whatever, that she gives an excuse to why she said it, so then she would be ne'emenes. However, it says, the Mechaber says, if they see that she's wearing clothing which is yuchadim for Yomi Niddah, and she says, either she says, "Oh no, I did it because of this or that, or whatever," because it's called huchzaka because there's a chazaka b'bachutz. Either it's some say it's because she, again, I mentioned this before, that she'd have to give the masa to everyone and not everyone's going to know. Either it's a din d'Rabbanan, and some say it's a din d'Oraisa because it's a chazaka. Is it mamash a chazaka? It's a little bit of a chiddush. They say Amasla Maisa Kule High to put on, her big day Niddah. Again, nowadays people, obviously there's no, whatever. This is not, women don't wear big day Niddah, but then that's the problem. And the Shach says, unless there's a certain, it's okay. Again, with everything, if it's obvious that this was the only way to go ahead and to take care of the issue, and there's a reason why she had to, do Ma'isa Kulei High, so then that would work also. That's question the Paiskim, what if she separates the beds. I don't really understand, also maybe that would, then she can't be choser from that. I don't know what she can't say, I separated the beds, I dropped my earring in the floor. Like, I don't know, separated the beds all the way. I was looking for something, and the kids came in there. I don't think it's the same. It's the same thing as wearing, wearing big day Niddah. Amra ploni chacham tiherli kesem. She said, listen, the Rav said this kesem is motor. V'chacham oimer. She mishakeres. I never was mad for such a thing. Chacham ne'eman b'tmeyahi. In this case, a chacham is more ne'eman, even though it's suffer law, and she has ne'emanus. In this case, a chacham is ne'eman. Now the makor of this discussion, but there's a din of ABPA. It's a din in, for example, in Evan Ezer talks about if someone says, he says, I spoke to the Eidim, they're a chasna, and this woman's married, and they speak to the Eidim, or speak to the guy, or let's say no, it was a call. Sorry, it was one guy, ABPA. I spoke to the guy. He was by the chasna, whatever. He was the eight, whatever it was. So it's called ABPA. So in that case. Or it's like two Eidim said this guy said she's married. So you go back to the guy who says, "Nah, I never said that." So since the whole binyan of the Eidos is built upon this person's statement, so nafla binyan, the whole thing falls apart. The Soto over here, it's not that the chacham is more ne'emenes than the isha, but since she's told her ne'emanos that she's tahira on this chacham. So, and you go to the chacham, he says, "I never said such a thing." So then we can, in that case, we can't believe then her ne'emanos falls apart. It's not because she was saying the chacham is that. That's some say because she's v'kala the chacham ne'emanos kishtayim. I don't know, but chapanim. That's the basic understanding.
In the first case, why can't you just say pesha also pesha hit? He's wearing big thing.
No, because there, also Maisa Kulei High, it's like a chazaka the case of Pesha Hitter, if two Eidim came and said, she's like, she was married and she's divorced, right? That's what she says. But two Eidim came and said, she, by the way, she was married. That her Pesha also doesn't work anymore, because the only reason Pesha also works is because of the fact we don't know anything. She said she was also, now she was matri. That's a.
She said she was in the not she went to the mikveh, not she was wearing the clothes, not she didn't say no.
Because no, she's wearing. In this case, she's no. If she said she went to the mikveh and everything, and that would be fine. But she says she's wearing a big Niddah. It's not tahira. I put it on because I didn't have anything to wear.
She went to the mikveh.
No, she didn't go to the mikveh. Not talking about the case. If she says, yeah, I was tameya and then I went to the mikveh and there was enough time, then she is nemenes. The case is she's saying, I never saw anything. I just put it on. I never was actually tameya. That's when we don't believe her. She says, yeah, I was tameya now and there was enough time in tahira. So then, yeah, why not? That's no difference in saying I saw something. Whatever.
She says I did a bedika and I was tahora. And the guy bumps into the Rav, and the Rav says, I saw your wife's Mara, and she's Tmeya. So he's saying that he's not more man in that situation.
Some say he is, but if she didn't tell it on the Chacham, she didn't say she went to the Chacham, and then the Chorah, she's more than menace. There's a story I heard of in times of the Ramah, when the Ramah became the Rav in Krakow. Right. They used to give the after wife went to the mikveh, so they would give the guy an aliyah. And the Ramah Mazel Tov, something like that. So the Ramah was like pizzas. He wants to mevatel it. And he found out that the reason of the sakin was because of the fact that women were being misrashal and going to the mikveh. It was, and then the women weren't going, and he realized, whatever, yeah, he realized that there was a reason why that they were attacking it, because women,
that seems to be part of the reason why the Ramah becomes such the defender of minhag.
Right, he said, right. So he said, so that, in a Hanami, so unfortunately, whatever, it's, you have to be careful who's more nam on this, whatever it happens to be, there's different things to be worried about. Anyway, Sif Dalid, Hayah Shamish Ibatahir Amarla Nitmesi. He was in the middle of the Maisa, and she said Nitmesi. Let's say she had Arkasha. She knows Pirish Miyad Chayv Kares. She Tziyaso Hanalo Kiviyasoi, because the Easter Kate said, yeah, because the Yitziyah is just as he gets the same as Kibiyaso, and therefore it's a Chiv Kares. It's Mishamish Niddah. Kate said, yeah, so no, it's Tziparne Ragla Ba'aretz V'shoa B'lodisha. He should, stick his toenails or whatever in the aretz and keep himself as steady as possible. Because mishamish be'aver mace be'arayas is potter. It's a derabanan, but kopanim it's potter. He's no chiv karis, and obviously he was an oinus over here. Unless some say because he was mishamish karav levesis. Okay, that's a different thing here. It doesn't, but Akopanim, and the Emma says this is a couple of the kudas over here. Emma says this is the din by al arayas, not just mishamish Niddah. This is the din by al arayas. That let's say someone whatever. Someone they gets married and she said, I don't think she's she says, yeah, by the way, I never bothered to get a get from my last husband. Now then again, I don't think she's nemenes, truth be told, but I'm saying, let's say, however, in the middle of the night, it found out she's a erva. It's the same din. It's not special din by Niddah. It's a din by al arayas. I was trying to look into what about is there like when it says Aver Mace, what about being Mazriya? Is that usher? Is that a chiv kares if he's Mazriya or not? It says Acha Aver Mace, so it doesn't talk about is there a chiv kares if he's Mazriya b'shneim or not?
mace?
No.
So what's the nafkamina?
No.
He is not totally in Hazra.
Right. So no. So this, I'm just wanted to find. Just wanted it was because just to find what I mean. The way for it is the BS Isser is what is the Disha, not the if a person wait for not the Hazra. Right. Try looking at whatever the Pashas is I think it's a tour before in Ebenezer. Hazra is not the Shaila if he's just there's ha'ara, he just is machne, it goes in a little bit, and or if he doesn't go at all, just mazriya. That's not an isser by Arias. Filter over here waiting for Aver Mace. It doesn't it doesn't it means even as long as he doesn't move, it's okay no matter whatever else happens. Even if he's mazriya, that would be that would be. That's not the issue over here.
This would have no bearing on whether it was a month or the child would be a month.
Yeah, so I saw someone asked. So let's say he's worried about the kid, right? Can he be porish miyad because he hasn't, or let's say he's talking to be mishamish with an erva, right? And he realizes that whatever it is, and then he doesn't want to have a mamzer, right? It's too bad. He has to wait, and he can't porish miyad. Nor can the woman be porish either. Well, that's a chiddush because it's karka oil. I don't know if it's an either. I don't know. She's something. I don't know. That's a different issue. But no, because some people hold that. Well, there's shita and toisus, the whole woman's karka olam. She's never chayav for bia. So over here also l'chayra, even if she was parish, she wouldn't be chayav. It could be she's over the fneiver. I don't know.
Wait, so it's possible to have the mamzer, one create a mamzer and not be chayav parents.
Right. In a chalav. Right. Right. Not right. In a chalav. If you're Zionist, and even that, right. Shogeg, onions, whatever. Either way, right. He shogeg. No, if he had no idea, and she tricked him, so he's onions, unless he had to.
No, he didn't know she was American.
Yeah. Anyway, v'yamale pachad bereses ala avera. And if it happened, then it still was a ma'isa avera. He should male pachad bereses, especially because over here by Niddah, it's much more than something that he could have avoided because obviously the case in the Gemara talks about that he has to be. He's Zartim is B'nai Yisrael that he has to watch out when her Oneself is. And the question the Gemara is he was trying to, get this last hurrah in right before, whatever, mitzvah right before he was trying to, right before the Oneself, and that's a shogeg, and that was a pshia. Anyway, below Yismach aleha. But he said he shouldn't be samech on her stam. Rak Yismach al raglav. The Yadav Shlo Yahanim Imena, he shouldn't be samech on her, not to move. He has to try to be sure that he doesn't move. And some say the pshat if he sticks his hands in whatever they say it's a formula to get rid for. I heard the pshat because the pressure. Once the pshat is the pressure on the extremities will draw the blood away from the center of his body, and it will help. And it will help. It will be maced much faster. I heard that. That's one of the pshatim. Interesting pshat. The imperish b'mena bekishui u'b'shogeg shel yoda shel also lifresh b'mena yisana barim yaim. He should fast for 40 days. Ve'enan tzvichin liyos v'tzufim. It doesn't need to be straight rock. Kol shavua shnei yomim can go on sheni v'chamishi. You should fast sheni v'chamishi. Ulel tainis also b'yayin u'basar. Ulel tainis it's also b'yayin u'basar. Even though yuchal lisanois, and if he's not have strength to go ahead and have the tainios, yifte kol yom b'mamon shehitin and stuck if he erech mon sheyeshlo. He has to give like a kilo. He has to put himself. Ki asher yitain yoser ksas me'ani. Yesh lahachmer b'tshuvasoi, that he should be very machmer on his, on his tshuva, and that would be very, meaning he's very, very machmer in Hilchos Niddah, and learn it well, and know what to do. And like in any other tshuva, you make a tshuva, any these are various, then it's extra schos. Now isha in etzvicha kapara. The isha does not need kapara because again she is what's called karka olam. That she is that it's she's not the balamaisa, whatever. She doesn't again, it could be if she tricked him, or if she said no, it's okay. I mean, there's different. Obviously, there's different levels of kapara, but the actual maisa, she doesn't need kapara. She doesn't need taniyos. In shimsha shelo b'shas vesta. Again, this is talking about b'shas vesta, so it's a shogeg. That's why he needs so much kapara, because it was a shogeg over here. In shimsha shelo b'shas vesta, matza achar tashmish dam. I feel nimsal eid shalo. Even they checked that he had a towel or a cloth and found dam on there. Mikri oinis. That's oinis. Then I feel lobat chatchila. Even if she didn't do bedika tchila, and tzvichin kapara lo hu v'lo he. In that case, no taniyos, nothing, because that's mamashona. It's a case where he needs kapara, as if again, it's the same thing happened. He has to know it's iparna. It's the same thing. But al kapanim they're oinsim by oneself chanapatre. He doesn't need any any tshuva.
They didn't find out.
Right. I'm saying right after the fact, they still need tshuva if he found dam and it was too close. It was the onus of Esses. Right, but the Nakuda here is also, and anyway, Stam they quote the Ari. I think Mishnah quotes the Ari many places. It says that we don't do taniyos anymore, and we putting in extra learning in is enough to become a tinus, and the person should make an extra seder or whatever, and that would be po to himself from any averas. Kuf beivav. So in Kuf beivav, isha sifalef. Isha sheyesh la vesas kavua. A woman who has a vesas kavua, and it's tzricha bedika klal. Well, if nei tashu shelo achar tashu. Now we're getting into the dinim of in the beginning of the marriage. We have when a woman's trying to be koveya vesas, which she doesn't know what causes her to see. Is it yomim? Is it maisa? Is it? Well, nowadays it's generally yomim. We don't have maisa, but time you have to be choishish that maybe she's a roda machas tashmish. Maybe instead of a kfitza, tashmish is what causes her to see. So if she has a vesas kavua already for yomim, and she knows this, let's say from before the chasna or whatever it is, then she doesn't need any bedikas at all. Not before tashmish, not after tashmish, because we know that her vesas is nothing to do with tashmish. The other rabbi ain't a livdoik which they buy la b'shas tashmish. She shouldn't, right before. Wait, let me just check myself. Right, because then she's messing up the mitzvah. Now Rambam Zal Masrich livdoik achar tashmish. However, he still says she needs to check achar tashmish. She be'ed echad, hu be'ed acher. She has to check her cloth, and he has to check his cloth. Liros behem shemaros adam b'shas tashmish. To check if maybe she tachas adam. Leave the ram. I guess until 3 times. We'll see in the next sif. We'll see in the next sif about because it's a machlokes. The Gemara says that a woman she always should check afterwards. So all of Rova Poskim say it's talking about she's misasik pataris. And if she's trying to do, she's trying to coach him, things like that, so then she has to, not to be shing metame. But the Rambam says it's talking labayla, which is a chiddush. I mean, I don't know if people are makbel. Never heard of it. And then pass. We're not makbel for the Rambam. However, and according to him, the tznuos and the machmirim should do it before tashmish. Also, I guess quietly, not in front of her husband. There's no reason to be machmir b'chlal. Persons, anshe ma'isa, have no idea. but Achopanim, that's a psak. Beis, we'll start Beis. Im ein la veses kavua, shalosh pa'amim ha-rishonim. If she does not have a veses kavua, then the first three times when they have tashmish, tzrichin livdoi kodem tashmish, ve'achar tashmish. They have to check before tashmish and after tashmish. Who be'ed shalo, he be'ed shala. He should check his cloth and he should check her cloth. V'im huchzaka ba'isam shalosh pa'amim. And if they were mishamish three times without any problems, she'ena ro adam achmas tashmish shuven etzricha b'dika klal. She is there's a chazaka, which is a complicated chazaka, but al kopanim, the Ritz says she's nechshav muchzak, that she's not roda b'achas tashmish, lifnei tashmish, lifnei achar tashmish, and it's not a problem. Well, the Rambam ba'arosh calls one she'in laveses, and she doesn't have veses kavua tzricha hi b'dika la'olam kodem tashmish v'achar tashmish, which we're not makbid for. Rambam matzvich shegama bal gives like atzva achar tashmish. The Rambam says the husband has to check also. The mice is a few nakudas. The Shach, famous Shach over here, says that this whole din of the Gemara says it's irrelevant. He throws it out the window. He says the whole thing over here is talking about it's talking about Nogea to Hilchos Ksubos. It shouldn't be here. It should be in Even Ezer. And the question is it a mekach or not? Because if she's a roda machmas tash, which we'll see in the next siman, he has to divorce her. So because they can't be together, we'll see in the next siman. But Akopanim, so therefore this whole thing is talking about Chiv Ksuba. If he has to divorce her, if she was a roda machmas tashmish, then it was a mekach tos. I'm saying like it wasn't, how much mekach tos to dissolve the marriage. But he's chayav to divorce her, and if she won't get, and the shaila, will she get a ksuba or not? And if she's muchzak three times, then she would get then it happened again. It would then. Then she would get she's a balas mum, and she could get her ksuba. So the Shach says we don't do any of these bedikos. It's not nagea. Finished. The shaila is do people do the bedikas or not? I know, and I remember, unless things change, in the Chasanim were taught in America. I can't say everywhere. I don't know. But generally, not to be makbid to check. They don't need. They go like they were making like the shach. Here often they were taught to do the three bedikas. Now the three bedikas. I'll just say this we're going to touch overtime. I just want to finish this. The three bedikas often they're. Once a woman gets pregnant, the bedikas don't work. So if they did one, if a woman gets pregnant very quickly, after marriage, they have when she has dam basulim, also we can't do a bedika. So for her, if she finishes dam basulim, sometimes takes a month or two, whatever, to for everything to stop bleeding. Then she does a bedika, boom, she gets pregnant. Then it could be, and then pregnant nursing also can go on for 10 years. And if people hit 40 years old, they're like, okay, now we can do the three bedikas. So that's why a lot of Chassan and Chassan teachers say, don't bother with it. He's something on the shach, So the advice is, however, if a person can be makpid, he shouldn't. They should try. I did takasiya. Someone asked if they do tashmish 3 times in one night. L'chora they can just do it 3 times and then. The Ramah didn't get up to you. Okay, we'll get to the Ramah. The Ramah's not talking about that. He's talking about checking it with a light of a candle. That's something else. We'll get to the Ramah next time. But they could just do it 3 times in one night. And the see that, but I don't know if some teachers say these eitzes. Al-Qapanim, the person should ask a shaila, and obviously they should follow whatever their chassan teachers tell them, and to be machmer or not. So.